I mean, I've been a long time admirer, and obviously we've worked together a little bit as well. What I love is that you are a great believer in that you can heal yourself.
Yeah.
And how did you come to that? Because if it started with hypnosis, that's obviously going into someone's mind.
Yeah. Well, it started with hypnosis, but, I've been a therapist my entire adult life now, and I've always been very inquisitive, and very quickly I realized that although we're told, the mind is very complicated and complex, that's not actually true. It's very simple. First of all, your mind does what it thinks you want it to do based on what you tell it. So if you go, oh my God, this chocolate is amazing, or this is better than sex, or I'm going to do all that work and then have some chocolate, or, oh, let's have chocolate, we're being good, or let's have chocolate, let's be bad. Your brain, its brain is like a feedback. It's a robot, really. You feed it stuff and it feeds it back. So the first thing is, whatever you're doing, your mind thinks you want to do that because somewhere you told it that. Secondly, the way you feel about everything is really just down to the pictures you make in your head. Like if someone said, I've got, dog's milk chocolate or cats with it, oh, no, I don't really fancy that. Because the picture's now completely different. If someone spat on your chocolate, wouldn't it? Or if we said, hey, I've got chocolate from Ghana, it doesn't sound the same as Swiss chocolate. So it's the pictures you make in your head and the words you form. And thirdly, which is the thing that people find the most vexing, is the mind will go back to what's familiar. So, the more your parents give you chocolate for your birthday and Christmas and celebrations, and the more you say, oh, you've been so good, you can have dessert, or you passed that exam, we're going to go out for ice cream. Now you've made rewarding yourself with sugar so familiar, and the brain is hardwired to go back to what's familiar while going away from what is unfamiliar. But then you think, well, I can make it unfamiliar. I can just say, I don't really want that anymore. That's not my friend. People say, it's my friend. Those cookies are my friend. Like, they're not your friend. They're just fat and sugar. So if you can change the pictures in your head, change what it means to you, and start to link pain towards it, not pleasure. For instance, when I had an oncologist, he said to me, oncologists don't eat sugar. And that's not true. A lot of them do. But in his instance, he said, don't eat sugar. Sugar feeds cancer. So that changed the pictures in my head very quickly. And that's a good thing.
I think we feel sometimes when we get to maybe 40, like the middle stages of our lives, that these are just so entrenched we can't change. What, when that's played so many times that even when you try and think of something positive, it still comes back, well, this is ridiculous. You're not enough. You can't do this.
Yeah, and that starts in school. We know that expression, comparison is a thief of joy, but that's where it begins. Babies born going, I'm not enough. I was looking at my little grandson. I said, he's got like triple thighs. And he's just the cutest. And nobody goes, oh my God, look at me. I've got 3 knees here. I've got triple thighs. I've got no hair. I've got milk spots. I've got a little fat tummy. I've got baggy, crinkly butt. Therefore, I'm not enough. Babies are certain they're enough. And so we have to ask ourselves, well, where does it go?
Yeah.
And it goes from when we begin this, your sister could read when she was 5. Your brother, he never got food on the floor. Your cousin is so good. And then we go to school and they stream you, which is a terrible, terrible thing for the kids who are not in the top. They stream kids. They have the high group. And then they have the kids who never get picked. I remember when I was at school, people pick you to be in their team. There's always one who's never picked. And, what does that do to children's self-esteem? Creative people are suggestible people. They can look at a room and change it.
She's so like that.
Because in their head, but you see, this is the problem. That can be the greatest gift and the worst thing ever, because what are you suggesting to yourself? Oh, it's not really that good. I don't know how I pulled that off. So creative people are very fragile. People think, musicians and artists are fragile. Creative people are all fragile. Look at Kate Spade. No matter how good they are, they doubt themselves. And the other thing is, when you're that talented and you can write a song in 5 minutes or write a book in a week, or you think, oh yeah, but I didn't work for it, therefore it doesn't have any value. But what I call the self-destructive talent. I didn't earn it, so I get rid of it. We know that 70% of lottery winners are completely broke in 3 years. The same thing, I didn't earn it. So I'm going to get rid of all of it. And if I didn't earn love and I didn't earn respect, then there's a huge part of us that wants to get rid of it because we can't value it because we didn't earn it.
So how do we find a way of chipping away at being able to or say those words,
Well,
I
first
am
of all,
enough?
stop comparing yourself. You know, you're unique. There's no one in the world like you. You have to stop this comparison. And social media, of course, breeds comparing. There's always someone younger, taller, thinner, and better than you. Always. But you have to go, but that's okay, because I'm me and I've got my own skill set, my own talents. So you got to, you know, I was working with a little boy recently who said, I'm not good at history. I said, darling, you're good at computers. That's it. You know, imagine if the whole world was good at everything. We'd never go out for dinner. We'd make all our own clothes. We wouldn't employ a gardener. We'd do our own house. There'd be no plumbers or electricians. You're supposed to be good at one thing. And you're here on the planet to find the one thing you're good at and be better at it. It doesn't matter if you can't do sport. It doesn't matter if you can't do history. Just do IT. That's your gift. And so that's the thing, is go back to what are you good at? What do you love? And just focus on just that one thing, because you're here to find out what you're good at and then perfect it. And of course, with all these YouTube tutorials, you can perfect anything. But when you try to be good at everything, I've got to be a great mum and a fantastic wife and a nymphomaniac in the bedroom, and then I've got to be an amazing chef, and I've got to be, it's too much, you know. Just to be good at something. Be good at being yourself. You don't have to be good at everything. Nobody really cares. You know, the people who like you don't care that you're not good at everything. And if you were good at everything, you'd be the loneliest person in the world, because that would intimidate everybody.
True.
Because every day the mind is sending messages to the body, and then interpreting the ones coming from the body back again. So if you can change those messages, you can change your entire life. You know, your mind's job is to make your thoughts real. And if you doubt that, think of this. Every time you feel sad, do your eyes fill up with tears? Even if you're watching a Kleenex advert. When you think of something embarrassing, you can go bright red. Think of sex, you can get very turned on when you're on your own. And when you think of food, your stomach rumbles. So we know that when we think, our body is making our thoughts real. When we think of the placebo, what you think of a drug will affect you more than what's in it, because we know that the body is constantly making our thoughts real. So when you think it's all going to go wrong, I know I'm going to get ghosted, I know I'm going to mess that up, sadly, your mind is rehearsing that now. So when it comes to it, that's exactly what you do. But if you think this is going to be amazing, this is going to be great, this is going to be fantastic, that tends to come true as well. So the thing is, we don't, you know, I always think of if you imagine your mind is like a Ferrari and you're going to drive it, but you've had no Ferrari driving lessons. You wouldn't be able to handle a Ferrari, but your brain is a Ferrari. And if you could learn to handle it, you could make it go wherever you wanted it to go. So, and it's very simple. It's really coming back to the way you feel. It's the pictures you make and the words. So if you say, oh, you know, I hate speaking in public, I'm no good with confrontation, I really can't bear to be the focus of attention, then that's a thought that becomes a fixed thought. It's not fleeting. You've said it, you've now made it fixed. And once you have a fixed thought, you act in a way that matches that thinking. If you woke up and thought, I'm not enough, I'm just not interesting enough, you're going to feel anxious, blocked, sad. I mean, there's no good thought you can have, I'm not enough. And then you act in a way, or often you don't act, you stay home, you don't take risks, because the loop is, because I'm not enough. And if you just flip that, well, I am enough, then you think completely differently. You think, well, I'm confident, I can take action because I'm enough, and you behave differently. And I was teaching this to children from all over the world about 2 years ago, and I made a big triangle on the floor with masking tape. And we had like a flip chart at each point. And the first flip chart was write a thought that's not good. And one kid wrote, I'm stupid. One kid wrote, I'm ugly. And one kid wrote, I don't have any friends. And then they ran to the next point and they had to write a feeling that came from them. And the feeling was, well, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm blocked. And then they ran to behavior, and the behavior was, I cry, or one of them, I act out. And then they ran back to the thought. And after a while, they realized it's the thought that was running the feelings and the action. So they changed it. They just took out, and then one said, I'm smart, one said, I'm beautiful, one said, I've got lots of friends. Now they ran to a feeling, and they said, I feel brave, I feel confident. When they ran to behavior, the kid who said he was stupid, I asked the teacher to explain stuff because I'm smart. And the one who said she didn't have any friends said, I invite people to my house, everybody likes me. So at 9, they got it, that People think feelings come first, but they don't. You can't have a feeling of being scared of a dog unless you think you're scared of dogs. And it's much easier to change thoughts than it is to change feelings or even behavior. So always go back to, what am I thinking? And then question it. I'm thinking, I'm never going to find love at my age. You can't make it if you didn't go to college. And then question that thought. Is that really true? Even if it is it true for me? Where did that thought come from? Who told me that? You got more chance of being abducted by a Martian than finding love at 55. Who told you that? Probably a magazine. Is it true? No, it's not true. And even if it is, it's not true for you. It's not true for you. So you go back, when you question a belief, you don't believe it. So question it. Where did it come from? Why do I believe it? Who told me that? Is it true? Can I make it untrue? And then your beliefs are yours to change, so change it.